We back with another reaction. What's good? Hey man, what a day, what a day, what a day. Shout out to all the parents out there, for sure, man. Shout out to all the parents out there. I had my son is not feeling well, so have been, with him and urgent care and everything this morning, man. So if y'all miss me, I've been gone all morning, man. Family first, but shout out to all the parents out there. I'm telling y'all, man, some things happen. The drop of a hat, you got to pivot, move, do all kind of different stuff. All right, man, we got another reaction today, man, from the homie Luesta. Now, I seen this video pop up. Hadn't had a chance to watch it yet. Every time Diddy gets brought up, it's like Jay-Z is synonymous, and everybody say the same thing. They be like, "Oh, Jay next, Jay next," and I'm like, "Jay next? Why is Jay next?" I don't really know too much of the history of Jay-Z and what he was doing and why he is potentially next. The only thing I really do know is that I've heard that Beyonce, people have to thank Beyonce when they get an award at the Grammys or something like that, so they don't get, but again, hey, look, I don't know. So that's what we're here to find out. So shout out to the homie Luesta for putting this video out. It's called The Disturbing Truth Behind Jay-Z and Beyonce. So we're gonna get into it today, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, man. I appreciate the love and support. We on the way to 20K, man. We on the way to 20K. I can't get there without each and every one of you, and I appreciate all of that love and support. So let's go ahead and tap into this video. And if you know any of this stuff, or if you knew any of this stuff, let me know in the chat. But I'm gonna be honest, the only thing I feel like I really have heard about Jay is his relationship, I believe, with Foxy Brown, if I'm not mistaken. So listen, they say he's just as bad, if not worse. If not worse. Again, hey. This may not be true. All of this is just for educational purposes. I'm just here to learn about this like y'all. So let's go ahead and tap into this video, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's get it. Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, allegedly. And thank you to Beyonce for allowing me to react to this video.
The rap world is undergoing a reckoning at the moment, as everyone is looking at the dark secrets that are spilling out. With the news that Diddy might be going away for life, people are now questioning who else might be in line to have their private lives exposed, with the terrible things that they've done to others coming to light and potentially ruining their reputation. And at the moment, it's not just one individual under scrutiny, but it's rap's real power couple who are being placed under the microscope, as they are now facing accusations that range from behind the scenes political manipulation to even murder.
What?
It's your boy Luesta, and this is the disturbing alleged double life.
Murder? How old was Beyonce when they got together?
Of Jay-Z and Beyonce. During a recent interview with Piers Morgan, R&B singer and conspiracy theorist Jaguar Wright made several allegations. Although she had been brought on the show to discuss the diddler and how she had been calling him out for years, she went majorly off script and started talking about Hove and the former Destiny's Child singer turned megastar.
Why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters, and the victim-making machine kept going on.
When Piers pointed out that Hove hadn't responded to all the rumors going around about their friendship after Diddy's arrest, Wright claimed that Jay's underhanded tactics and sneaky ways of avoiding direct involvement have allowed him to stay on top in the industry.
That's what
hasn't Jaguar Wright been just saying stuff? Like, hasn't she been saying stuff like just? I feel like it's like the boy who cried wolf and the woman who cried wolf. Like, she's been saying a lot, so I feel like people don't really listen to what she's saying. That's kind of what I hear. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I feel like I hear Jaguar Wright all the time, and that's almost like, oh yeah, that's just Jaguar Wright talking. Like, you ain't really gotta listen to that. That's just Jaguar talking. So I wonder if it's one of them cases. But she says she been screaming Diddy and Jay for the longest, and nobody listen.
And sneaky ways of avoiding direct involvement have allowed him to stay on top in the industry.
That's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond.
Rather than say he was just an accomplice to evil, she said that in reality, Jay was the connective tissue between many of the big names who have been involved in horrific acts.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, Sean Carter.
Whoa.
This has been a fist of tea.
I've never thought, I didn't, wait, Weinstein, Epstein, Diddy, and who else?
Tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
She even claimed that there are people ready to come forward with their stories, adding fuel to a conspiracy theory that's recently gained a lot of attention. One involving their alleged connection to the tragic death of another prominent R&B artist.
I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things. Keeping people against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane, unconscious.
Now, if you were
Hey,
looking
no,
for that
nah, I don't
portion of
even
her
know if I
interview-
want to watch this video, gang. I don't even know if I want to finish watching this video, bruh. Whoa, that's salacious. Those are dangerous claims.
with the British journalist anywhere else on YouTube, you wouldn't find it. Because after she made those comments, Morgan got hit with a cease and desist and was made to censor his allegedly uncensored show.
Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. Like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
After it was pulled from air, and Morgan had this tale, but
They apologize. He apologized? Oh no, yeah. Look. I'm sorry already, gang. Hey, look. He apologized. And I've seen Piers Morgan before. I feel like he's not one to apologize, right? Like he's like almost brash in a sense, like where he say something and he kind of like stand on it. So the fact that he apologized, I mean, that's just power though. That's how I see it. That's just power in general. Like, and honestly, man, if it was me and I can't defend myself, I'm gonna tell, hey, bro, chill on all of that. Chill on all that. Let me let the lawyers do the work. But that's crazy.
between his legs, their lawyer Alex Spiro labeled the claim as clearly false. There's rumors and then there's nonsense. And this is one step further, he told TMZ. This is a pointed and formal accusation of something. I felt it needed to be responded to. I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is to remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court is gonna order you to. So I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly. Some people agreed with their legal team that you couldn't just make claims like this without any consequences. But there were some who felt that this made Jay-Z and Beyonce look way more guilty than they would otherwise, and maybe the damage had been done. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's too late to edit it out. The internet lives forever. And I mean, they're right. Once you put something onto social media, it takes on a new life of its own. And these days, there's a lot of people who are wondering now if Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't just in cahoots with Puff, but were just as bad as the diddler himself.
Oh no.
Because even after the threats of legal action from Jay and Bey's legal team, Jaguar continued to argue that if Diddy was brought to justice, they would be too.
That's always been my focus. They're one and the same. Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
As opposed to jumping on the bandwagon, it should be noted that this is definitely the first time that she leveled these claims at Hove and Co. Instead, Jaguar, who sang backing vocals on Jay-Z's Unplugged album, has been claiming that Hove abused her and others for years.
Oh, so
Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I
so she's a victim too. Oh no, I didn't know that. So she's not just saying this, she's saying I'm a victim too. Ooh, that's tough, man. I wonder why people aren't listening to her. If she's like, I was there, bro.
know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. Want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit. That Cassie shit, that's nothing.
Are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. It's gonna be the women that give him in the end.
Of course, there are some people who would discredit Jaguar Wright.
Yeah,
Throughout
right.
the years, she has shown signs of instability, such as throwing her son's ashes at people during an argument before smearing them on her own skin.
What?
Oh my this. Oh my son.
Okay, that's why ain't nobody listening to her. That's why ain't nobody listening to her. Well, oh man, you can't make statements like that and then make yourself look like, quite frankly, like unhinged and mentally unstable. It doesn't fit. You have to be solid, like, because then people won't listen to you. You discredit yourself.
They're all dead.
No,
They're all
I can't even watch this.
They're all dead.
I can't even watch this.
They're all dead.
What the?
They're all dead.
But as hard as that is to accept, she has been proven right in other ways. From Diddy's secret freak-offs, right down to the ingredients of the cocktail that Diddy used to sedate the participants in these events.
It's a veterinary drug. It's a horse tranquilizer. Now, gay men have been using this for years. If you went to a gay party or a gay rave, there were certain drugs that you will always find on hand. Viagra, Special K, and cocaine.
But as headline-grabbing as what she has to say is, Wright is ultimately only one voice in the crowd of people who have suggested that there's something seriously warped going on behind the scenes in Ho's life. Right down to fellow 90s hip-hop artists like Lord Jamar. According to him, Ho's indiscretions were a lot better disguised than Diddy's. But the fact that he started dating Beyonce after meeting her when she was just 17 years old, as well as rumors that he got with Foxy Brown when the rapper was 15 and he was 20.
See, that I heard about, right? That I heard about. The Foxy Brown, I heard about that, and I definitely heard that he got with B like super young, which is definitely it's like that raises the flags. But I hadn't heard anything else outside of the claims. I hadn't heard anything else. Honestly,
should have rang alarm bells.
You know,
Yeah.
I will say that Jay-Z, if he was doing ill like that, he was more quiet about it. You know what I mean? But then, if we be real with ourselves, it was kind of abnormal when he got with Beyonce. Like, she was pretty young when he got with her. There's rumors that
Under
he was
18.
messing with Foxy Brown when she was pretty young.
Why do y'all think nobody said nothing about that? Why do y'all think nobody said anything about it? Because it was Jay? You know, I feel like when it comes to Kells, like, I'm from Chicago. When it comes to Kells, it was like an open secret. Like, everybody knew about that. Like, you talk to my mom and my grandmother, but they be like, yeah, everybody knew. It was just like, he's R. Kelly. Like, what do we do? Like, he's Kells, you know? You're gonna make them famous or whatever. The promises to make them famous and do records and all this. And like, I just wonder why nobody ever said anything, especially, you know, the people around him, like, why they just didn't, like, man, that's kind of weird, you know? It comes out like years and years and years and years later. Even the same stuff with like Diddy too. Like Diddy, like, everybody's coming out to talk about it now. But I guess that's the other thing that I heard people say is like, okay, when he's, you know, locked away or he's in jail, it makes it more like I can finally speak about it because he's not gonna do anything to me or hurt me or retaliate against me.
There's a lot of those rumors around.
But if you ask Jamar, this situation is scarily common when it comes to these high-powered celebrities, and Jay is just one of many people that he had heard some dark things about.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. When certain people get to a certain level of fame, I don't know why, but you start to hear little about certain people sometimes. If you really think about most of your top celebrities, black celebrities, rappers, I feel like I've heard a rumor
About all of them. Facts.
It could be. Or it could be that motherfuckers gotta join a club in order to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
Everybody that goes past a certain point, you'll hear a little, have I heard little shit about Jay-Z?
That's even getting into like the conspiracy hour where every top, you know what I'm saying, musician, actor, anybody doing something with their life, I don't care who they are, if once you get to a certain level, there's always like conspiracy hour where they've crossed over to the Illuminati, and I'm just air quotes, Illuminati, and it's just like everyone who's successful, everyone who's successful had to go that route, or was there any possibility that they did it on their own or whatever? That's the only thing I don't like about these types of things too, is like, you can't even be successful without being connected to the Illuminati.
Yup.
The whole Foxy Brown situation is one that's had people concerned for a long time. Even when she appeared on his debut album in 1996, the track was recorded 2 years earlier when she was just 15. Then, as her first album emerged when she was 17, it was full of explicit lyrics and had 5 co-writing credits for, you guessed it, Sean Carter. So at this point, Hov and Foxy's relationship seems to be an open secret. Even Jason Lee hinted towards it on a recent IG Live after Puffy's arrest.
And then Diddy, that whole empire crumbling got a lot of y'all scared because your favorite rapper was sleeping with a 15-year-old. But listen, here's the deal.
But when it comes to Jay's questionable behavior around young women, it doesn't end with those he tries to court. Sometimes, he's threatening teenagers just to get their signature on a contract. During an appearance on Tyra Banks' show way back in the day, a 17-year-old Rihanna let it slip that Jay had been a little forceful in convincing her to sign to Def Jam back when he was still at the helm of the label.
Like that, there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
That's crazy.
So you was like, where's the pen?
So it sounds funny, but it's like, all right, either you sign this deal and you go through this door, or we throw you out the 29th floor window.
Paper, I'm signing. Yeah.
This may have seemed like a lighthearted anecdote from Riri at the time, but considering everything we now know about how the top figures in hip-hop operate, it lands a little differently. Particularly when you hear some of the stories about how Jay and Bey have allegedly moved through both the industry and their own secretive lives. The name Kathy Coriana White might not necessarily mean anything to you, but for those who are familiar with the dirt surrounding the Carters, she's one of the most interesting individuals in the whole situation. It was alleged that back in the day, Kathy and Jay-Z were engaged in an affair. Eventually, the press got wind of it and tried to follow up. But then, something horrible happened before the truth could come out. The story comes from former entertainment reporter Liz Crocken, who said that she was on the cusp of blowing the whole thing wide open when tragedy struck. In August of 2011, I was working as a senior editor for Star magazine. My boss asked me to look into online blog reports claiming that a woman named Kathy Coriana White, who friends called Corey, was having an affair with Jay-Z. The blog that reportedly first broke the affair story was published by Hollywood Street King in an article titled Busted: Jay-Z Caught Cheating on Beyonce with Kathy White in August of 2010. I managed to get a hold of Kathy at her job in New York over the phone. I then uncovered photos of Kathy hanging out with Jay-Z and Diddy at Tao nightclub in Las Vegas. So I called her back and asked her about the photo evidence that debunked her initial claim that she had never met or hung out with Jay-Z. At this point, Kathy expressed to me that she would consider going public with her story. Days later, I tried to reach her at her work with no luck. I finally got a hold of one of her colleagues and I asked her if she knew why Kathy had been MIA. Her colleague shockingly told me she's dead. This story has gained plenty of attention over the years, even becoming the focus of a full video by Trap Lord Ross, who hinted that there might be more beneath the surface than we initially thought. But her friend and colleague, Claudia Jordan, has pushed back and has since tried to dead the story. Still, it continues to grow arms and legs, with people even theorizing that Ye hinted towards the situation between White and Jay-Z on the infamous track Blood on the Leaves, when he said, "He only wanna see that ass in reverse, $2,000 bag with no cash in your purse. Now you sit in courtside, wifey on the other side, gotta keep them separated. I call that apartheid." Then she says she's pregnant. That's the night your heart died. Now you gotta go to your girl and report that. Main reason, cause your pastor said he can't abort that.
What? Then Ye went on and rapped about it too? Well, I mean, that's alleged. Bruh, this is deep. This is way deeper than I thought this was gonna get. I ain't even gonna lie to you. This is way deeper than I thought this was gonna get. Ye even rapped about it, bro. And she just unalived, fam, out of nowhere. Same thing happened with never. I'm not even gonna say it, bro. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Obviously, Ye and Kanye have a complex relationship that could be deserving of its own video one day. But it wouldn't exactly be the first time that he blew the whistle on his former mentor and said more than he should have. Because when they had fallen out in the past, Ye seemed to suggest that there was more reasons to be afraid of Hov.
I've been sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. Jay-Z called
remember this too.
Jay-Z called me. Hey, Bob, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man.
Much like Jaguar Wright, Ye is a man who the media has also labeled as crazy from time to time, so this pretty much went under the radar. But some believe he might have been onto something, especially since Kathy White isn't the only person in their circle to have mysteriously and suddenly passed away.
The plane crash that killed a rising star in the world of music and film. Reaction today after Aaliyah and 8 others were killed when their plane went down.
The tragic death of Aaliyah is one that's grown very shadowy in recent years. For starters, it's recently emerged that the beloved singer wasn't even conscious when she boarded the plane that crashed and claimed her life. They took her out of the van. She didn't even know she was getting boarded on a plane. She went on the plane asleep. And one person who's become increasingly wary of the official story is Dame Dash. To many people,
Dame
he's the
hate
original
talking
hater
about
when it
Jay-Z
comes
now.
to Hove, incapable of accepting what went wrong with their friendship at Rockefeller Records. But to many people, he's been seen as the man who was right about Hove all along. In case you didn't know, Dame was dating Aaliyah at the time of her untimely death. But that happened long after Hove had been trying to date her since she was 17, whereas Dame didn't start dating her until she was 21.
I didn't look at her like that because she was like a tomboy. She was little to me. But then one time, she was, I guess we had the same bookkeeper, and I walked past, and the thing about Aaliyah was like every time I saw her, she looked different. So she had different looks every time, and I was like, who the fuck is that?
According to Dame, this was something that stayed with Jay long after his former friend and label co-owner hooked up with her and was the cause of some friction between them.
Everybody knows that shit. Like we were both.
I heard it, but I didn't.
Yeah, but what they be trying to act like
he
he was like really fucking with. Nah, he was sending flowers and doing all this shit. That nigga, he was courting her. So we were both going hard, and we ended up in the same house 4th of July. So we were, for some reason this day.
Wait a minute, you, Jay, and Aaliyah ended up in the same house.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So it was like one day it might lean toward him, and then it would lean toward me. But I was just on fire that week. Like I was just everything I was saying was funny. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I remember coming downstairs, like it happened. He was like. It's like, this is gonna be hard for me because his friends were laughing at him and shit.
But there was a third man involved in the situation. The individual who had groomed her and married her when she was just 14, R. Kelly. Despite how sick this was and how much Kelly's behavior was an open secret in the game, Jay went ahead and made 2 collaborative projects.
I just said
Meanwhile, Dame refused to take a dime from them.
I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm not working with you. So I walked away
Bro,
from that.
I never thought about this piece right here. I remember them doing them albums together too. And it's just like, bro, you knew what Kels was up to. You knew what Kels was up to. Everybody knew, bro. You can act like you didn't. Everybody knew. At least from my understanding, people knew what Kels was doing, bro. And to do 2 albums with him, oh man, that just makes you look terrible.
And made 2 collaborative projects with him. Meanwhile, Dame refused to take a dime from them.
I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm not working with you. So I walked away from Weinstein, and then homie did do business with him. When it came down to R. Kelly, there was a conversation had about the moralness, like it's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know raped my girl or raped anybody for that matter. So I do know that conversation was had, and I was really surprised that he moved forward with that relationship. I don't know Epstein, so I never had the chance to walk away from him. But I do know that when that project did come out, I didn't want any part of that project. I didn't want any of the money to go to Rockefeller or me when it came to Rockefeller. It was around the time that Jay was trying to kind of separate himself from us, and he was saying that he didn't want to be a part anymore.
The idea that Hove must have known was echoed by Nas, who seemed to have suggested something similar at the height of his beef with Jay-Z.
You can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You can't tell me that it wasn't on that he ain't never seen no 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity. You seen it go down. Yeah. I've been around R. Kelly. I've been on a tour with him. I didn't see no 14-year-old, but I talked to the man and I've seen there's a little problem there.
In the years that have passed since Aaliyah's tragic death, Dame has increasingly wondered if someone had something to gain from her passing away. And in recent years, people have felt that Jay and Beyonce are among those who might have had a hand in it, or at least had something to gain from her passing, including Jaguar Wright.
For sure.
Wait, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah, for sure.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Damn on your horn now, that fucking bullshit ass record. From the Austin Powers shit was some of the worst shit ever. They were having a hard time taking her solo.
Austin Powers Austin Powers and that came out around the same time, and her passing came around the same time, I don't think her solo career was that bad at that time. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't feel like Beyonce ever struggled at all. Destiny's Child. I mean, this isn't before Destiny's Child. That's after Destiny's Child. I don't know. Let me know if y'all think her career was like struggling.
Oh, and then Aaliyah died.
Well, Dame
That's
has never
tough,
explicitly
but she did
said
have the
that
most
Hov
game.
was
But
the
they say
man
the same thing
involved.
about
He has
Big and
basically
Jay.
said that it's now up to his former friend and others to make it clear that there's no foul play.
I know that there are people that benefited from her death, but for me, when I hear these conspiracies, I'm like, how could they be that powerful that they could get a plane or someone to crash a plane? Like, I don't want to say I'm underestimating people, but I don't give people like that. That's like, yo, that's the most illest gangster shit. Some Pablo Escobar, you could actually get a plane to crash. And then a lot of rumors about me, like I sacrificed her and some dumb shit like that. You know, all those things. It's hard to, like, I don't want to believe that, but it does make me think it through, you know? So again, in this moment, just because there's so much gray area on a legal level, not what I'm suspecting, but like, you know, this shit is now real. Or if it isn't real, people are gonna have to prove that it's not real.
But he hasn't shied away from making some pretty wild claims about Hov that echo some things that you might have been hearing about Diddy. During a particularly shocking interview, Dame Dash alleged that Jay followed in Diddy's footsteps and spiked his drinks after a show.
There was this one time when my daughter was 16, Jay had a show and my daughter wanted to go. So I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna deprive my daughter. So, you know, I hollered at Jay, sent the kite and told him I wanted to go to a show with my daughter, and they accommodated me to the fullest. People were really surprised to see me there, took pictures with everybody. And again, Emery's my brother, so I would hate to think that he was fucking around like that, pause. But he kept asking me something. That was the first time I had tasted that Douce, and I got ridiculously drunk to the extent, and my daughter and I were talking about this the other day, that I was like, yo, I don't get this drunk. Why am I so drunk? And I ended up wrestling with Kevin Hart. Poor nigga got me in a chicken wing. And I remember Vaughn taping that shit. I'm like, yo, why you taping, Vaughn? So I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, because homie makes drinks too. And again, just if this is true, these are the things that I'm like, just reflecting on. And if I wouldn't have played everything completely by the book, complete honor, then I could have been compromised.
For the most part, we've been focusing on Jay-Z. In a lot of ways, it makes sense that he's the one who's been on the front lines of the industry for almost 30 years, pulling strings and hustling his way to $1 billion. Generally, you don't get that rich without getting your hands a little dirty. So, does Beyonce have similar skeletons in her closet? Well, these days, people are beginning to think so. Recently, the video of Kanye's VMA escapade with Taylor Swift has been doing the rounds again on social media. But instead of the usual narratives about him stealing a young girl's thunder, people are now suggesting that he actively saved Taylor. Because the theory goes that if she hadn't given Beyonce any credit, it could have gone south for her. Check this out.
Beyonce, whoo!
This is what I've been hearing most recently, is that there's something about thanking Beyonce when you win an award. If she doesn't win, you got to thank her. So it does always seem kind of out of place when you see these people just come up here and just start thanking her for no reason. But maybe they just think she's such an icon that she should win. I'm just talking, but like, I don't understand why they do that.
You changed my life. You sang that gospel medley, and the way you made me feel, I was like, I want to make people feel this way with my music. So thank you so much. You clearly are the artist of our lives.
Hey, artist of my life is Beyonce in this album for me. I appreciate that. And all us artists here, we fucking adore you. You are our light. And I love you. I always have, and I always will.
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
For Ye fans, this whole scenario has been a real layup, as it means that people are posting positive comments about him for a change.
Right.
But even if there's nothing to really substantiate that theory, it doesn't change the fact that she has lost 4 million followers since March 2024. If you're keeping tabs, that's around the same time that things started to get wild with Diddy's case.
What?
And just as Jaguar Wright has been going at Hov, there are people inside Beyonce's inner circle who have suggested that there's darkness underneath the surface there as well. Identifying himself as her former bodyguard, a TikToker who goes by the name of Uncle Ron has started sharing some wild stories about Beyonce and Hov, only for those TikToks to also be taken down. For one thing, he said that she had a pretty severe addiction, and this was for Hov's benefit.
See, hardly nobody knows, but I say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way. Y'all wish it what you wish it to stay on top. But there's one thing about me, bro. I can't be bought.
In a separate video, he threatened to expose them.
But I mean, in the same way, he's saying that afterwards too. Right? Like he's saying that afterwards too. Like he's not saying that as he was working where he didn't come out then. He's coming out now to say it. Those are the kind of things that I'm talking about where it's like, you know, when maybe there's a sense of safety to be able to say these things. Cause I mean, if you know that, then we should be saying this while it's actively happening too, right?
Claiming that they might take drastic action to silence him with the kind of dirt he had on them, including but not limited to them ending other R&B singers' careers and even their relationship being a sham.
Is he still with us?
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Okay, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you. That's how hateful you guys are. How you step on anybody to stay on the top. So remember, your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there.
From there, Uncle Ron continued, claiming that he would drop evidence if they ever challenged him.
Remember, all the receipts, all the proof, the old school footage, I still have it.
Now, it's hard to validate if a lot of what he's saying is fact.
He died?
But there are comments from Carrie Hilson.
Ain't no way. That's what I said. Is he still with us? Ain't no way.
From years ago, where she tries to explain why she disappeared from the music industry for 7 years after shading Beyonce on the track Turn It On. Although she didn't go too much into detail,
what did she say?
It's clear that there were repercussions for that.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats, and those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this will happen. And I'm young, I'm early 20s, and I'm like, they're like, sing this song. You don't have it, you're here for a couple hours. I go in town. It's that. It's the whole, if you don't, then blank. So you learn though. You learn to fight harder.
Bro.
I didn't
we know this is happening. We know this happens.
I was maybe 20, 21, and I have enough fight in me.
But the whole thing gets even crazier because unfortunately, just months after unveiling his TikToks about Jay and Beyonce, Uncle Ron's family would take to his TikTok to announce that he had passed away. Let's make this clear. No one is saying that Hov and Beyonce did anything.
Facts.
After all, he could have died of natural causes. But when you consider everything that's emerged as of late, you can bet that this sure isn't going to stop the conspiracy theories from coming. And who knows? If any of this is true, they might end up in a cell right alongside Diddy. If you didn't know by now, hip-hop is full of wild conspiracy theories. And if you want to get more acquainted with more of them, just check out some of the videos on the screen. As always, I want to thank y'all for
man. That one was a lot deeper than I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't expecting it to go like, that's crazy, man. A lot of that stuff I had no idea about. And again, I have to say this, that doesn't mean that any of this stuff is true, man. This is all like speculation and the internet. But it is kind of alarming to see all of those different details that came out. And it would take a lot of research and a lot of people putting this stuff together for you to actually be able to see it in a timeline in this way. So that's crazy, man. I meant she wasn't hitting like that solo wise, right? What do you say? Wise till her first album, which was a couple of years after Aaliyah passed, but was in the making around that time. That's Beyonce's ghostwriter, Carrie Hilson. Yeah, man. So let me know how y'all felt about this one, man. This one, I feel like I said, you got to take it with a grain of salt because it's not rooted in like there's no way to really prove it unless it comes out in court and we get to hear all of this stuff. But let me know how you guys feel about this. Let me know what your thoughts are on this whole thing with J and B. But y'all let me know, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out. I appreciate that love and support, man. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with some more videos, man. Today, I just definitely wanted to get back and get you guys a video because I was tied up this morning. Like I said, my son was sick, so I had to, take care of him. But I love y'all, man. Hit that like button on the way out. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace.